Think you know the story of the Prodigal Son? Wait till you hear my take on it, on the second edition of Tofer's Take. So, like I just said, this is the second edition of Tofer's Take, and I want to look at the story in Luke 15 about the Prodigal Son. Now, most of you guys know this story. You know, it's this guy takes half his father's stuff, runs away, and all of a sudden there's a famine in the land. Dude can't live, can't eat, and he decides to come home. And his father is waiting there with welcome arms. He's like, dude, hey, kill the fat calf, put on a robe on this kid, and let's have a party. But we forget all too often, among the happy ending right there, we forget all too often there's another son, an older son. You see, the son stayed with his father. The son worked and worked and worked and did everything his father ever asked him to. So when the younger son came home, the older son was like, what's going on? And when one of the servants explained it to him, the older son was upset. He was livid. How dare this kid come home after wasting all my father's money? And how dare my father welcome him back with open arms? You see, this is a story. This character in the story is the one I relate to. There are those who relate to the prodigal son, because there was a time when, they were far from God and God welcomed them back. But through my life, the majority of it, I've never had that time. Like I said in my last podcast, I was always the one who was going to youth group, who was doing stuff with FCA, or Camps Crusade for Christ. You see, I can relate to the older son in the story, because I've been there. And I want to take these next couple podcasts, and show you that I've been there, to an extent. I want to take some time to tell you my story. And I'm going to break it down into reasonable, chunks, so it's not all one big, long podcast. But I want to say, hey, I know there's those of you guys out there who can relate to the older son in the story, who feel like, you've done all this work, all this stuff for God, and yet still don't have his relationship with him. Because I was there. Just like a former drug addict. Is a better outreach or better witness to somebody who's going through, drug addiction right now. I feel my story is good to reach out to you guys. We're going through something similar. Now there's a verse. Jesus, I think it's original in Isaiah. Don't quote me on that, but Jesus quotes it. Says, there are people who are far from me, who acknowledge me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me. And I wonder, how many of today's Sunday morning Christians or casual Christianity, they acknowledge God with their lips, but their hearts are far from him. My brothers, if that is you, then I'm calling you out in this. If that is you, I'm addressing you. I'm challenging you to get to know God more in a relationship. And if you can relate to the prodigal son in the story, hopefully I'm laying some foundation for you for later on. So you can see, okay, yeah, these are some of the things that might be traps down the road, might entangle me as I grow in my relationship with Christ. I want to do my best to avoid these things. And that is all I got for you guys. So, goodbye and God bless.